today we're talking about 3 things that you're doing every day that hurt your back. I'm Amanda Armagast.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence. You
Well,
started
as the
it.
yoga teacher here, I can totally start. I think that the number one thing that we're doing every day is our posture, especially our sitting posture.
I
Would you
agree.
agree?
I agree.
A lot of us are working all day, and even more than that, a lot of us are working on the computer all day. So, Dr. Abbasi, actually, just turn to the side and just show what you're doing right now. Show your sitting posture. Do you see how when you're sitting like that, your neck is going forward and you're putting a lot of pressure on your shoulders?
So what is a better way of doing that?
A better way of doing that is to allow your shoulders to roll back and sit a little bit more straight up, and also
or even use the back of
and
the
engage
seat.
your
You know?
core.
Yeah,
Use the back of your seat.
That's what it's there for.
So true.
Yeah.
Do you think that crossing your legs is bad for your back too? Because when you think about it like this, when you're crossing your legs and working, for example, the reason why I asked is because I do get back pain from crossing my legs too long. When I was studying, I would sit at the desk with my legs crossed like this, reading and studying, and then every so often I would write, but I was always at a slant.
Well, whenever we come to a understanding what's good for you and what's not good for you, we cannot not go back thousands and millions of years back. No, I know you make fun of me every time I go back into our history, but think about what the human, where we come from, what we were supposed to do, how we lived, what we did, what did we not do when we came to become civilized, before we became civilized. Like, did we have chairs?
No.
Did we have no
There was a lot of squatting back then, actually.
Squatting, lots of squatting, lots of walking,
Mm-hmm.
not much running, because the reason we know we are not good, we are not supposed to run much, is because we are just horrible at running. Like, cat is faster than us. Almost
A mouse, you said.
An alligator is can run faster than a human.
Okay, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we are bad at that, but we are pound for pound, mile by mile, we are more efficient at walking than any other animal in the whole universe that we know of. Okay.
So are you saying that not walking enough is something that we're doing to hurt our spine?
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got sitting now. Did we have, when we came out, have cell phone that we have to put our head down and just hours and hours just go TikTok after TikTok and so on? No, we didn't. What did we do? Or we are
looking straight.
Look at people
side.
on a campfire. Look at people, or
Mm-hmm.
on the savannah, looking at distance, making sure the tiger doesn't come for us, or if there's a yummy gazelle, so how do I get the gazelle, and so on. So looking at the distance and so on, and changing position. That is, I think that's what we did. Now, what do we do now? Like, I was in a TV interview recently and was saying, 90% of the time I'm standing there and doing surgery, or sitting on a chair doing literally documentation. And that is predominates most of my daily activity to position.
Yeah.
But our body is not really made for that. As a matter of fact, um, traditionally human life was predominated as a hunter and gatherer. What do hunter and gatherer do? Lots of walking, lots of searching, lots of different positions. Sometimes you have to go look at the trees. Sometimes you have to bend down and gather mushrooms, or hunting. You have to run short episode, but more than running, walking, getting to places, and so on.
Crouching for a long
Yeah,
period of time.
change of position. That is, and our biology hasn't really caught up with us, with our new civilized life. Like, our body is not made to travel 70 miles an hour, not even 30 miles an hour. there is actually a very interesting, I mean, for people who are interested, if to understand how wrong this civilization is for our biology, what that means that, uh, you know, if you look at the animal, cats are good at what they're supposed to do. Mice are perfect at what they're supposed to do. Alligators, they have two eyelids. So if it's in murky water and so on, they
Yeah.
have one eyelid versus another. They are perfect for what they are supposed to do. But we human, we have changed so much of our lifestyle that our biology is not good for what we are doing, like sitting on this table and drinking, sugary stuff
There's no
and
sugar in it.
well, not that, but
But
you
actually,
get the
that
point.
actually makes me ask you: have you noticed, or do you think it's not red, or it's too soon? But have you noticed more neck issues?
A lot more. I said lower back issues, but what I wanted to say, there is the Danish, I think the scientists, they got together, and I want you to start in the other picture, look for it. Um, they look for what would be human should look like, what a human should look like for us to survive even a 30 miles an hour accident. So that just what should a human anatomy look like to survive a 30 mile, not even high velocity, 30 miles an accident. So they put it on the computer, go to images now, and then you see that this is the project. They call it the project something. So yeah, if you can share it, this is our body should look like this to survive a car accident. So nature didn't think us that we are going to have to survive something like that.
That's disgusting.
Well, it is disgusting because we are not used to it. In if nature was this, if nature would have done that, all women would have said, "Oh, look at that sexy
He's
guy.
optimized.
He's optimized. He can survive." The same way, do you think that like alligator look at the guy with six pack and says, "Oh, look at that sexy"? No, it
I
is
never did.
nature put it. Yeah, nature put it in your head that that is optimized, that is best. So if the nature would have done that, a female human in the future would have said, "Look at that sexy. I want to have babies with that
Yeah,
guy."
I can't look at it.
So, but you understand where I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, right? Our biology is not optimized for our way of life.
Yeah.
And that includes lots of sedentary work, lots of crunching down because we do a lot of work with our hands and looking down. And these days as well, the cell phone and so on.
Because
That
and these days it's not just work. It's our work, it's our entertainment, it's
Mhm.
our communication. All of it is looking down.
So you ask, what are the three things we do that is bad for our spine? I would say the opposite. What is the three things that we don't do, which is bad
Yeah,
for our
but
spine?
let's talk about.
Walking, change of position, and variation of activities.
Mhm.
These are the three things we don't do that make us really be unhealthy, have an unhealthy
Yeah.
spine. So, and yoga is one of those things that I think overcome some of that, and that is our spine needs, or generally our musculoskeletal system needs a lots of range of motion. We call it,
Mhm.
meaning that, and I'm just talking about the shoulder, but every joint, every area is the same. Like my shoulder can do this, can go up, can go front, can go back, all the way, go even in the back like that. So see, this is the range of motion, but in reality, I'm using just 5% of
Right.
it. And when I have to go to that other areas, then all of a sudden it's just too much for it. So yoga is good because it puts you at the maximum range of motion, so you use it so you don't lose it.
And also, when we're sitting at our desks, it's my understanding that you should take a movement break, at least like a 2-minute movement break every hour. You shouldn't be
Mhm.
sitting in the same slumped over position for
change
over an
of
hour.
change of position,
Mhm.
yes, absolutely. I don't know what the optimum for that is, but certainly sitting hours and hours in the same position and using just few of your muscles is not um, it's not how your biology is supposed to work. What that means, like in some places they have this desk that you can stand up. Yeah, in some places, even in Crookston, they have these small little treadmills that you can walk while you're
Yeah,
doing desk work.
some of my friends have those.
Yeah, or I'm hoping the technology come to our help, meaning that soon we don't have to type, we don't have to sit down, we can walk in a park and talk to an artificial intelligence. Like I'm writing my book these days, I don't have to sit down, and I can do anything I want and talk to the artificial intelligence to make those chapters changes and so on. Now unfortunately I do it only when I'm driving so I'm not really getting the benefit of it, but there is a tool now that you see the technology is helping us to overcome the problem of the technology now
Yeah.
by us being able to perform and not necessarily have one position on a desk to do the job.
Yeah, everything is about cycles. So we talked about being sedentary, we talked about posture. What's one other thing that we're doing every day that is bad for our back?
Sedentary um, and range of motion,
Mhm.
different position and range of motion for individual um, joint and spine. What that means that like obviously position and range of motion they have something in common, but position is your whole body, whereas range of motion is individual joint, especially in the spine. Like there is something I really like you do with me, the cobra in yoga.
Mhm.
That how many times in a real life you really do that?
Never.
Except you don't do it for 10 years and then there's something you want to catch a ball, then you do that, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
oh, my back is killing me.
Yeah.
Whereas if you in yoga you do that regularly, your body is not a foreign thing all of a sudden to your body.
Yeah, because it helps with these muscles too, your chest muscles and your back and shoulder
Now
muscles.
that is a range of motion for your spine, but that's not the position, natural position that
No,
you ever
that's what
have.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but with natural position I'm talking about sitting, standing, um, crawling, climbing, different things that your whole body is in different position and not necessarily just a sedentary lifestyle that we have. And that is something that we should not have, just a very sedentary lifestyle that is very detrimental for us.
And a lot of us can't help it having a sedentary lifestyle. Like, for example, if you sometimes you have to drive from Crookston to Alexandria, that's a long drive and all of this. But I think it's
But
still,
I'm hopeful.
but I think even if we can't control how sedentary we are, we still have a little bit of control. Like, if you're working for 12 hours, it might not sound enjoyable for you to take a walk after work, but a
But it's
20
good for
minute,
you.
yeah, a 20-minute walk really isn't a lot of time. Like 20 minutes in your whole entire day really isn't a lot of time,
Mhm.
but it has a huge impact on your future
Why do you think the dog's owner lives 7 years longer in average?
because they're taking walks.
Yeah. Now, I'm hopeful because you talk about the driving. Yeah, we have to drive and so on. But many things are that we don't have to drive for many of jobs anymore. And imagine, I can't wait for that. That while the car is, I have a van, when the car is driving, I'm sitting in the van and doing some other work. And hopefully that other work can include as well, maybe I just do some yoga poses in the van while the car is driving from here to
Yeah.
Crookston.
Or, I mean, it depends on what country you live in. Some countries do care about that stuff, so they have more public transportation. They have trains you can walk on, or they have walkable cities.
Yeah,
Not
yes,
every
Singapore is a very high top, and but I'm talking about in our lives here in the United States. I think that technology created this imbalance between how we should be and how we are.
Yeah.
But as well, the technology can hopefully overcome that. That that we don't have to sit down to do a job, or we don't have to sit in that car for 8 hours and so on, or other thing that sometimes many of these activities that we do, like when we went from the hunter and gatherer, one of the worst thing happens in human history was going from hunter and gatherer to being farmers.
Worst and best, and depends on what you're.
No, it's for the human average lifespan went down, average patient health and height went down. Any information we have in human history from all the archaeological things that it was a huge setback for humanity to go from hunter and gatherer to farming, because farming was really back-breaking
Yeah.
work, and as a matter of fact, it made us, or it reduces the amount of different things that we used to eat as a hunter and gatherer. So mortality went up, the lifespan went down, our height went down. We know that for sure, and diseases went actually up when it happened. But it had to happen because our population was growing,
what I was
and
gonna
hunter and
say.
gatherer couldn't really support that higher number of humanity and so on. But the farming was bad for individual health, no question. Okay, so
And environmental.
and environmental. But you see, some of those problems now we can overcome with, again, with technology and so on. That, but it's a different, again, that's a different thing. But coming back to what is good for your back and what's bad for your back, I think we covered that. Um,
The best thing you can do for your back, when I'm understanding, is to be mobile, to move.
and that is especially when you're elderly, when you're an elderly, and your body has limited amount of reserves, and if you don't use your body to the maximum of what you can, that maximum always becomes lower and lower.
Mhm.
So keeping, especially in what we do as in spine surgery, is our first most important goal is keep the elderly on their feet and keep them going. And now you understand something that I get so upset when I put it in our like blogs and so on, that I did that surgery for that lady in an hour, and patient was walking saying they went go home next day, and now can you go to kitchen? And then some apologize, some totally intellectually moronic brain comes and comments, what about the lordosis? What about this? What
They have
about
a, they
that?
have a one-track mind. They care about the images and they care about what the images look like, not your patient outcome.
No, well, no, but that is the whole idea that we should understand, especially in elderly. Now, in a younger person, yeah, those numbers and so on do matter. But in an elderly patient, you want them on their feet in the kitchen cooking dinner for themselves.
Exactly.
What they are going to do in 30 years, because the curvature is this much and that much, is not a priority for them. Now, but there are, and that is, regarding the spine, we are talking about what's good and bad for your spine. Ambulation is good for your spine. Walking is good for your spine. Running marathon, being a professional marathon, going every year on a triathlon and doing that is not good. No, that is maybe good for your energy level, for your adrenaline addiction,
Metabolism.
and so on and so. But that is not good for your spine. I can tell you that. Professional runners, their joints are 30, 20 years older than they are.
Professional athletes in general, right?
They're always, their joints are 20 years older than average peers, because again, our, our body is made for certain thing. Jumping, running, and we talked about that, is not what our body is made for.
It's made for walking and thinking.
Walking and thinking, yes, exactly, and that is a good closure to what we want to talk about here. Our, as a human, we are good only at two things: walking and thinking.
Thank you guys for watching. We talked about what you're doing every day that might be bad for your spine. I'm Amanda Armagost.
And I'm Dr. Abbasi for Essence.
Have a good weekend.